Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at Fabrico OEE live demo webinar, Unlock Hidden Capacity and Boost Efficiency. My name is Teodora Terzieva. I'm Chief Growth Officer at Fabrico, and I'm really excited to be here with my colleague, Peter Margin, our Sales Manager for North America. Hello, Peter. Okay, so let's start. At Fabrico, what we do is we bring together CMMS and OEE into a single solution. And why is that powerful? Because it helps manufacturers not only digitalize maintenance, but also optimize performance and aim for true operational excellence. Our vision is very simple. Tools that are easy to use, mobile first, because the real work happens on the shop floor, built for companies and safety, for compliance and safety, and most importantly, designed by listening to our customers. That's how Fabrico grows alongside the people who really use it on an everyday basis. And why OEE is critical, why it is important. Let's talk a little bit about overall equipment effectiveness. You often hear it called the global benchmark for productivity. Why? Because it brings together three things that every factory struggles with: availability, performance, and quality. Think of it this way. So a machine might be down for maintenance, that's availability, or it's running but slower than it should, that's performance. Maybe it's producing parts but some don't pass the quality checks, that's really the quality. And when you add those up, you see the true picture. And the best part is OEE helps to unlock capacity you already have. So no need new machines, no new production lines, just better visibility and smarter decisions. And now we visit a lot of factories, and I often hear production managers say things like, I already know everything that's going on, or we don't really have downtime issues, or even our operators won't like more reporting. But here is the reality. Once the data is in front of them, the story is usually quite different. Numbers don't lie. For example, we work with a plant that told their biggest issue was machine breakdowns. Once they started tracking OEE, it turned out breakdowns were only a small part of the problem. The real losses were coming from small stops, reduced speed, delayed changeovers, things that weren't visible day to day, but were gradually reducing available capacity. And when it comes to operators, our OEE measurement system is designed to be so intuitive and easy to use that it doesn't feel like extra work. With just a click, they can register stoppage reason, waste, rework, or changeover. It takes seconds and it gives them clarity on what's really happening. So instead of feeling burdened, or usually operators, actually, they feel more empowered because they see that their input drives meaningful improvements. And with that, it's a great time to see all of this in action. So I will give the floor to Peter, who is going to show you a live demo of how Fabrico turns production data into real-time insights. So go ahead, Peter, with the demonstration.
All righty. Welcome once more, everybody, to today's webinar. As Teddy wonderfully introduced me, my name is Peter Margin, and I am Fabrico's Head of Partnerships for the North American market. Today, I'm going to do my absolute best to show you Fabrico's new OEE system in all of its light and glory. And we're going to start off here in our OEE module. I would like to mention everything that you see up top. So this is actually part of our CMMS. If you'd like to learn more about this good stuff, feel free to reach out after the webinar, and I'm happy to schedule some separate time for a demo. But for today's demo purposes, we're going to be showing just the OEE module. Now, before we officially begin, I do want to say a bit of a disclaimer. The data that you're going to be seeing today in today's demo is going to be essentially synthetic, just because we don't have any production capabilities ourselves. So we just had to enter some information basically to show you how the system works. So you as a professional in production, if you see something that doesn't make sense, then you know why that is. Okay, so to kick things off, we're going to start in the overview section over here below our OEE module. And what it is essentially what the name is. It's an overview of your KPIs, as well as the current status of your production lines. So starting from up top, you're going to have your production achievement, as well as your OEE, followed by availability, performance, quality, and the number of current working lines that you have at the moment. Following that to the right, you're going to have your stops section, which just basically shows your planned and unplanned stops. Planned are going to be marked in orange, and unplanned stops are going to be marked in red. You can also see the count of each, as well as the duration of each. Before I get into the actual production lines, just to really quickly show you up top, there are several different views, You have your shift view, which you can select from this button right here. So you can select between first, second, and third shift. Or if you'd like a more detailed a view of your entire day, you can select a 24-hour view, which will reveal data for a 24-hour period. Jumping over into our timeline section, this is essentially a bit of a more visual approach of presenting the data, which we saw on the previous screen, in the KPI screen. The metrics are relatively the same, except here you also see your total downtime, as well as your total uptime. And on the left-hand side over here, these are going to be all of your production lines with, and these little tabs that you see on the left are actually color-coded to show you the status of each line. So if we look at the legend down below, anything in green is going to be a working production line. As we mentioned previously, orange is planned stops and red is unplanned stops. And any of the data that you see on screen, which is marked in gray, is unclassified time. And I'll get to that more in detail in a second, but essentially what it is this is a prompt to have one of your technicians on the shop floor enter a stoppage reason or a changeover in this case, for example. Speaking of which, anything marked in light blue is our sign of showing a changeover, which is currently undergoing. So I'll get into that just in a minute here. And then everything that is marked in a crosshatch pattern is a process that has been completed with a slight delay. So let's jump over to our production lines, and I can show you that. You can use the button in the left on the menu, or you can click into a production line directly from the overview section. It doesn't matter. The production line section is where all the action happens. And this is where your technicians are going to be able to submit tasks, which you see right here, submit waste, or initiate a changeover. Now, some key differences between the two screens. Up top, you see that in this case, we're in production line LNK001. You can select and switch between different lines just by using the drop-down function. And using the calendar, you can go back and forth and switch between shifts or specific dates. Now, one really neat feature that I would like to mention is our little live view button that you see over here marked in green. When this is green, it shows you that you're currently in the live view of Fabrico's OEE system. If I were to switch to a previous day, it marks it out in gray. And essentially, it's nice to know that you're looking at current data versus past data. Within the production line screen, you're going to have your products, which are tied to the specific production line. If you click, you can see everything that's being produced by the production line. And then some interesting metrics, such as your total amount produced, your target, OEE, essentially, and then once more, you have your availability, performance, and quality, followed by your downtime, produced goods, and your total waste. Now, moving forward here into our actual task creation button. For those of you who are our current clients of Fabrico, this is going to seem very similar because this is taken from our CMMS system. It is the task creation button from our CMMS system. And what it is essentially a series of drop-down menus which allow you to enter necessary information for the creation of a maintenance task or an urgent task. I'm not going to get into too much detail now, just because it does take a minute to enter everything. And I should also mention that it is fully customizable in terms of the fields that you see. based on your team's individual needs. And down below, you can enter any attachments which are useful and helpful for your maintenance task at hand. Now, moving over to waste, in this case, you can enter it several different ways. So you can either submit it by clicking on this button, or you can just go ahead to the green bar down below, and from the drop down, you can select register waste. It's a very simple and easy process. For those of you who've used Fabrico CMMS, you know that one of our key principles as a company is that we believe in user friendliness and intuitiveness. And we've made sure to carry that same principle over to our OEE system. So all you would do is select the product which you want to register waste for, followed by a reason. And there's a couple of different categories as well. It could be a rework, or it could be a waste. And I'll get to those in our settings, but those are customizable as well. So just for the purpose of the demo, let's select reason 3, and we can click next, and you're going to be prompted with a screen which will allow you to input how many products are actually wasted in this case. So if you see on the top right, currently we have a total of 130. Let's say we've also wasted another 25, and by clicking save, you'll see that it automatically updates it up top, and it adjusts your produced goods as well. Moving down into our actual changeover sections, I'd like to show you guys by going into a different production line. So if we click onto line number 3, you're going to see a notification which says that the line is currently under changeover. And in an active setting, when you're actually using it as you're supposed to with real-time data, this is the notification screen that will show up for your technicians when they go into the production line. Now, from here, they're going to have several options. If you choose, you can select to stop the changeover for any reason. You can also select a stoppage reason, or you can create a task as well. And for the actual submittance of a changeover, we can jump over to line 4. And this also allows me to show you Fabrico's notification for a line which is currently down. Now, when a line goes down, what you will see across the screens in your production facility is this big red notification, which we've made sure to make it as visible as possible, where essentially it shows you the line, how long has it been down for. And then also you can initiate several different things. Once more, you can do a task creation, for example, maintenance, if it's an urgent task. You can add a stoppage reason from here, or you can also initiate a changeover, which once more, it's as simple as clicking the product that you'd like to switch for if it's not pre-assigned already through a memory setting, and selecting the next one that you'd like to produce. And you would just select start, and you would initiate a changeover onto this specific line. That essentially kind of ties it in for the production line. You might be wondering where we get all this data from, and there is several different ways of actually achieving this. So one of them is if you already have any kind of sensors installed on your machines in your production facility, we can take the data from those and upload it directly to Fabrico's OEE system. Or if you don't have any of those installed at the moment, we can actually go ahead and help you with the installation and implementation of sensors on your production lines. The third way would be integrating directly with your facility's PLC system, which will allow us to populate everything that you see on here as well. And a factor which tends to be overlooked a little bit, I would say, is the input from your actual technicians. We've made sure that we have several prompts of entering data or allowing technicians to enter data, just because we believe that they're just as important as sensors, and it is crucial for them to enter data accurately as well. Moving over to our OEE settings, and I know I tend to be rambling a little bit here, and I'm sharing a lot at the moment, so if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments so you don't forget about them. But jumping into our OEE settings, I'd like to emphasize a little bit about Fabrico's level of customization. Now, I know I mentioned that we're user-friendly. We really are. Yeah, we can integrate with any kind of industry tablet. We're mobile-friendly. We're desktop-friendly. So it doesn't really matter what you guys use in your facility. I can assure you that you can fluently use Fabrico on your devices as well. And in terms of our high level of customization, I'm going to quickly go over. our settings and for OEE module, there's several different ones like lines, products, stoppage reasons, and waste. The lines section is essentially where you would build out your production lines. So you have information like the title of the actual line, followed by any codes that are associated with it. You can also submit the location of the production line if you have multiple facilities in your manufacturing plant, for example. And then you would submit any kind of machines that are tied to this production line, as well as a core machine, which is used as a centerpiece for it all. You can also submit your target OEE and critical OEE, and creating a new production line is as simple as selecting this green create button up top, which will lead you to a very intuitive drop-down screen similar to our task creation, where you would enter this basic information. And then down below, there's actually several cool features as well. If you go over into changeover settings, you'll see that there's a default time for changeovers in this production line. But if you'd like to customize it even more, clicking on this green button over here with the little white plus will drop down an additional menu, which will allow you to create custom changeover times from product to product. So in this case, if we take our dishwashing powder, and we know that on this same production line, we also produce detergent powder, we can select the estimated duration for switching between the two products in a changeover is going to be 15 minutes. And from this point on, this changeover duration is going to be automatically memorized in your settings, and you won't have to worry about adjusting it every time you initiate a changeover. Down below that, we also have our micro stops. Now, we realize that a lot of Fabrico's clients do not want to register every single stop in their facility. So, for example, if your facility recognizes that any stops under, say, 3 minutes are not deemed that impactful for your metrics and your KPIs, then you can select and customize that any micro stops under 3 minutes will not show up in your data and will not have an impact on your OEE. Down below those, below the microstops, we have our files and links, which are two of our favorite buttons at Fabrico. It's just for adding any kind of supporting documentation in relation to this production line. I'm going to drop down into our product section here. So in the product settings, it's very similar to the lines, with the difference that this is essentially allowing you to set settings for your specific products. In this case, it would be, once more, your title and codes tied to them, as well as categories and other information like basic units, single packages, single package quantities, and so on and so forth. Now, instead of showing you the creation button, just because it's very similar, I'm actually going to jump into edit here really quick. To show you a field which is already populated with all the information that's necessary. As I mentioned, this is going to be your standard info that you would submit. And I do want to also say that these are not all mandatory. It's all adjustable based on your needs. But if we drop down below, there's actually some neat features that I do want to mention. So you can actually set, based on the product, you can set standardized production lines in your facility. So if, in this case, we're producing fabric softener, I know it doesn't make sense, but on a CNC machine, you can actually assign it as a standard line or line N as well. And then based on the capabilities of each production line, you can adjust your ideal cycle time. So in this case, the ideal count for our first production line is 20. The one below is going to be a 200. So you know that this one works a little bit faster. But it's just a nice way to know that you can set these standards and settings based on each individual production line, and it will reflect in your KPIs as well automatically. Moving down into our stoppage reasons, this is once more a really simple approach to entering all of them. You're going to have a list view of them, and it's going to be titled with a short description. You're going to be prompted to categorize them based on unplanned in red or planned in orange. And the cool thing is that you can assign specific stoppage reasons to specific production lines, so that when your technician enters information, for example, a waste reason on line LNK001, you can select that only a set of these first four are going to be available for that specific production line. And jumping into waste, it's essentially once more a very similar screen, bridging the the user friendliness, which I mentioned earlier. This is where you would submit any kind of waste reasons, and you'll be prompted to select a type of waste reason like a rework or actual waste. And once more, you can tie it to specific production lines. So that pretty much wraps it up for, it's a quick overview of our OEE system. Now, I did not want to go into too much detail in terms of customization of settings, just because, for some of you, it might be interesting, for others, it might be not. So I'm going to save that for a separate call. If you'd like to have a follow-up, and maybe I can go into more details regarding anything that you're specifically interested in. And before I leave some room for Q&A, I just wanted to quickly mention that Fabrico really does put a strong emphasis on data collection, and not only data collection, but actual data which is clear and easy to understand by your management teams. What I mean by that is if you look at our summary overview of our KPIs, you can see data anywhere from, for example, your most common downtime reasons, and you can select based on machine, you can select it based on a task even, and you can look more in detail into your OEE, as well as other key metrics which are interesting. But once more, unfortunately, I don't have the time to discuss everything at the moment. So if you'd like to learn more, we can have a chat after the webinar here. But yeah, so thank you for listening to my spiel here. I'm going to leave the floor open for any questions.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Peter. It was a great walkthrough of how Fabrico works in practice. So what we've just seen really captures the value of OEE. It's not about adding another dashboard. It's about helping teams reduce downtime, take faster and smarter decision every day, and really unlock capacity. So yeah, before we close, I'd love to hear from the audience. What questions do you have? If there are any questions which occurred during the presentations or something which you had from the before, I'm waiting for your comments. We already have received some LinkedIn questions, so I'll go through some of them. Okay, here there is one. Can we use this to measure employee performance? One of our visitors asked about it. Well, yes. In fact, that feature is already available in our maintenance system, and we've applied the same approach with the OEE system. So each operator has start and stop functionality that captures the real duration of their work orders. This means that by the end of the day, you can see detailed statistics on who produced what, on which production line, during which shift, or which team. In fact, it gives you a clear data-driven picture of individual and team performance without adding extra reporting effort. So yeah, we can state that we have this employee performance indicator. Do we have other questions? Yeah, okay. We have one commonly seen question. Do you have AI features built into the system? So yeah, this buzzword is everywhere. We are fundamentally an AI-driven company. So Fabrico's maintenance software and OEE measurement systems are two of our key products. We have a large team of data scientists who develop custom AI solutions for manufacturing companies across different industries and locations. So we did solutions for predictive maintenance, spare parts and inventory optimization, downtime, smart planning, and many more. So there are many examples on this. The great thing is that also, as Peter mentioned before, that both our CMMS and OEE systems are designed to collect that data in a structured, categorized way. This makes it much easier to leverage the data for future needs, including training machine learning models. So essentially, we can tailor AI applications, especially for each client using Fabrico's systems and data collected through Fabrico. So yeah, you can call us also for such services. And I think we have time for one more question. Just a second. Is it possible to customize the dashboards and other features to fit our own needs? Our dashboards also mentioned, and features are highly customizable. You've already seen part of the settings. The key idea is that we adapt the system to our customers' workflow, not the other way around. So this makes it very easy to adjust the tools as your requirements change. So when you change your requirements, we also adjust the tools based on your workflow. So here also I have a positive answer to this question. Okay, so I think we're almost done. We've almost reached the 30 minutes limit we put for this demo. So I encourage you to leave any questions to our LinkedIn profile, contact us directly, or even book a meeting right away using the QR code which you see on the screen. I really hope that Peter's and my presentation was interesting and valuable for you. So please feel free to reach out in any way. Thank you again for your attention, and I wish you high equipment effectiveness and smooth operations in all your projects. So thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.